Good day, crafty chums, and welcome to another interesting make. This is a technique that I've just come across by Connie McFarlane, or McFarlane, depending on where you put the enunciation. So I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. And it's a hot glue embossing technique. So of course what I'm going to use is my glue gun, a little sharp tool, pokey tool or something, you know, just a little sharp tool. A toothpick would work well. Look, I've got my orange stick there, so maybe I'll use my orange stick seeing as it's just there. And some embossing powder. So I've got a one here that's ebony, and it's a Martha Stewart one actually. So I'm doing this one on an ATC size card, and but basically you can do it on any size you really want to. 3x3 will look good on a card, but this is an ATC, you know, so that's good for swapping with ATCs, and you can come up with different colour designs or whatever for whatever season. But this is going to be like an abstract piece. And I think my glue gun's hot enough. This is watercolour paper. I quite often work with watercolour paper. I just like it because it's slightly thicker, and it allows you to do different techniques on it, and doesn't, you know, it holds up to a bit of mixed media. So what I'm going to do is just do 2 lines of hot glue. Got to work quite quickly on this. Running out of glue, I think, anyway. But and then you take your tool, whatever it is you've done, and then just drag the glue down through the 2 lines. You can make any pattern you want to, really. It all works the same for. And there, it's cooled down there, so that's enough there. I'm just going to allow it to cool off a little bit more than what it is at the moment. Sorry if we're wobbling about a bit, but the boat's, you know, seems to me this camera picks up a lot of the movement of the boat, whereas before you weren't really seeing with the camera on the where I had it before, you weren't really seeing it, and then people didn't like it because they couldn't see a lot of what I was doing. And so I don't know what's the best to do for camera angles. We'll keep it a little bit like this. Before I was thinking if I come in really closer, then you won't get so much of the movement, but I'm not actually sure whether that's true or not. I have to come in a certain close because the legs, otherwise you see the legs of the tripod. So anyway, we'll just let that cool a bit, and then get on with the embossing. I'm just going to go over the watercolour paper with my little powdery tool thing, so that the embossing powder doesn't stick where I don't want it to. Hopefully it won't. So what we have to do is we have to reheat the glue a little bit, and I'm just going to stick a piece of paper underneath so I catch my embossing powder when it comes out. So we just got to reheat this glue just a little bit, not for long. And then put our embossing powder on. Obviously not long enough, so we'll just do that a little bit more. First off though, don't do that. Put the embossing powder back in. So we're going to reheat this a bit more. see what happened to my strands. They came off, so I think that maybe they weren't thick enough or something. So that's stuck a little bit there, isn't it? Just going to get a brush, brush it off the bits I don't want it to be on. Put the embossing powder back in the pot. It's been a while since I've really done any embossing. Forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing there, aren't I? And then reheat it again. Just seeing if I can drag this down a bit, because I lost a lot of the lines there, didn't I? So it's either going to be a hot mess or it's going to be brilliant. I have a feeling it might end up being a hot mess. Oh, yeah, hot mess, man. See if I can set it again. I'm not going to move it anymore. I'll just let that dry and we'll go with that. It's my first attempt at it, so you know, your first one is always the more difficult one. So just going to let that dry off and go on to the next bit. So I'm just going to have a little bit of play with some coloured distress inks and things on here. See how it goes. So I'm just going to... I've got some, what is this? Antique lining on here first. Then I'm going to go on to some tea dye. And then this is a fired brick. And I've got some broken china here. No, which I'm going to go down here a bit with. I'm actually going to put some more red up here, and somehow I've managed to get my hand in there, I think. Just want to make this a little bit more red. And then knock it back again. Need to get some more sponges, I think. So we're going with blues now, aren't we? Blues. So I'm just going to work in some colours. And do another blue. This one is Faded Jeans. Just going in with some peeled paint. I did a rant video yesterday and I'm undecided whether I'm going to put it up or not. I was quite upset about something, and so I did a video, and then I just all of a sudden started ranting, and it was like, what are you doing? So I haven't put that video up yet, and I might not, because yeah, who wants to hear me ranting? Really? It's like, do you really? If you do, I'll put it up. But sometimes it's good to get things off your chest. And sometimes it isn't. I think a bit more yellowy would have done very well there, but yeah. But anyway, I hope you get the idea for this one, and it's got potential. As I say, it's my first attempt, and I'll practice it some more, and who knows what results I'll get then. So that's just an ATC size card, so 2.5 by 3.5, and the idea was from Connie McFarlane. And it's she calls it hot glue embossing. So it's the first time I've come across it, and I thought it was quite cute. You could do things with it. But yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't a 2.5 by 3.5 at all. I meant to do it as a 2.5 by 3.5, but I did it as 2.5 by 3 3/4 or something. So I had to chop a little bit off, and so I did that, and I thought I'd just come back and just show you that I'm going around now in black. Because, yeah, the idea was good. I like the idea. Of course, it's the first time I've tried it, so not too familiar with the technique or anything. And I'm just going to just spritz it with a bit of water and see what effect that has on it. Because when you put water on the distress inks, you get a different effect with the inks. It activates the inks, and so yeah, and it does just a little bit extra. So when that dries off, that'll be a oh yeah, let's do some running. Look at that, I like that. some drippage. Yeah, we're getting some drippage there. Ooh, I like it. Anyway, so there you go. Hope you like the technique, and as I say, it's not mine, it's Connie McFarlane's, so look out for her. And yeah, have a go, it's a lot of fun, and the more you do it, the better you get. So see you again soon, bye.